What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at the best meta strikers in FC 24. We're going to go across multiple price ranges. So we're starting with the lower tier. We've got a medium, a kind of medium to high, and then the very ultimate of elite. So it's kind of like low, medium, high, and supreme rulers of FC 24 that nobody can afford. But to start with, we have got the kind of absolute low tax bracket of Kolomuani. 5,000 coins, give or take. And I do think in this game, they are not cheap at all. Like most games, strikers are kind of that position where you put the most amount of money in. I'm not saying go out and spend all your million, 5 million, 100k on just one player, because if you've got a 200, 500k striker, but then every other position's 5k, you will find loopholes. And most definitely you could score a lot more if you're going against teams that are unwell balanced like that. Then maybe, yes, you might have that slight advantage having yourself a Rashford, but then Kunate and a kind of Botman in defence. It may get you by for the kind of lower levels, but most definitely this year I think teams are far more advanced than you'd actually think going straight into it. And I do think you've probably packed one or two decent players by now, and maybe you've got some coins, give or take. I don't know. Let me know down below, what is your coin balance saying? So I'm interested in to know that, because it will kind of relay where you're at in terms of the level of striker you can afford or already have in the game. We have got Kolomuani though. He's on both of my accounts at the moment. We run at the moment Kolomuani and 85 Ansu, just because I like to go with the untradables as much as possible. I don't really spend my coins massively on players that stick into the team, as predominantly I do reviews, so I need the coins to be able to buy players even when they become necessary. So I like to run that untradeable, and if it means I don't get a Rashford for the first month, so be it. We run with whatever we can, and Kolomuani has been exceptional in that role. CR7, another interesting one, coming in at 20,000 coins, which is absolutely heartbreaking. If you've ever played the game as far as FIFA 09's Ultimate Team, which is the very first one, you'd know full well the levels that Ronaldo's come from to be now only 86 rated. I don't think I've seen a Ronaldo 20k in any FIFA, to be honest. Maybe at the end of FIFA he might have been, but 20k for an 86 Ronaldo is crazy. Lower than actually his flashback versions, which again is even more nuts. The one thing though he's got, Power Shot Plus is perfect, does have that ability to shoot, but unfortunately the pace is a little bit short. So I think with him and Messi, both of them are designed to have a flashback this year. I think that's a pretty guaranteed right to have. Most definitely, they will get flashbacks and moments until they retire. And then, who knows, icons straight away. That would be very interesting to see if Messi and Ronaldo both become the first 99 rated icons. I think it probably is right, to be honest, but it would be interesting. With Messi, on the other hand, though, 90 rated still, keeping him valued at 110,000 coins, which again is incredibly low. 3-4 weeks into the game, and he's already nearly just 100,000 coins. I think by the end of the games, his gold card is worth that. Again, crazy to see, but dribbling wise on Messi is phenomenal. He's got the technical playstyle plus, which is the RB controlled dribble or controlled sprint, so you can get that really, really quick, but the left stick dribbling on him is absolutely insane. We then have the three women. Sophia Smith, due to get a Trailblazer this week. We have Diane, and we also have Alex Morgan. Unfortunately, only Alex Morgan is the one with the finesse shot playstyle plus, so already adds that advantage onto her. Sophia Smith could potentially get it in her upgrade, maybe just to 89, or potentially a round up to a 90, which would be phenomenal. 158 for her. Diane's coming in at 76, and then Morgan's coming in at 53 as well. They are some very, very good attackers. We've got the American kind of trio or quad, depending on what you're looking at. Morgan, Smith, Rodman, and also then Swanson as the left wing. They are a very, very dynamic up front, which most definitely have got a lot of pace, a lot of agility, and also a lot of shooting power. Diane, on the other hand, is a right wing that more than likely moves into the striker. Whether she gets an upgrade soon with a playstyle plus, I think that could be the nice add to her, as well as finishing wise, she is absolutely exquisite. And then we have the two top ones. Griezmann, I've put him in here rather than his Trailblazer, as I do think the fact they got rid of his finesse shot is a downgrade in my opinion, especially with only a +1, no skill move or weak foot upgrade. I personally would much rather go for the gold, a bit cheaper than him as well. 112k is not bad for an 88 Griezmann, which again, I don't know how he got that rating. I personally never watched La Liga last year, really, in the whole full of it, but I really didn't hear his name of enough to go up to an 88, in my opinion. Let me know if you watched him. Does he deserve it, or did he just randomly get the upgrade? from name purposes. I personally don't know, but an incredible player that has exceptional dribbling as well. Rashford, on the other hand, the most expensive of kind of the cheaper tier now, just shy of 200,000 coins. Power Shot Plus with him just makes him elite. He's already got the pace. Finishing with a hunter is incredible. He maxes out everything. You give him the space, he's going to absolutely take it. And adding the Power Shot Plus for him as well is just dangerous. So that's going to be kind of the lower tier. Let's have a look at a notch up. FC24 is here and Sky Coach has all your needs covered. From squad battles, champs, qualifications, and even now draft boosting, there is a long list of services they do give, as well as coaching and also the big one everybody wants in FC24 coins. This service is fast and reliable, and you will get your coins, your boosting services, or obviously coaching in a matter of hours. If you do want to get any of these, make sure you head over to skycoach.gg, go onto the website, and when you go to checkout, make sure that you are using the code JT11 at checkout for your 5% off your orders. And if you'd prefer to do this on mobile, check out the screen right now with the QR code for their mobile app. So then we go into the next sort of tier. Like I said, we've got kind of low, medium, high, and then unbelievable high. In this one, we've got one more icon and a few more heroes alongside some special cards. So starting off with Haaland, I've gone again like Griezmann with this version rather than the Road to the Knockout, purely for the fact the Road to the Knockout is like 2.2 mil. I just think it's a little bit of a waste if you are trying to protect your coins. There's not many people that are going to be spending 2.2 mil on a striker or could even afford that. I can't even afford that right now and I put money onto the game. So I would much rather insist you look at the gold card. Unique body type. Yes, doesn't have the skill move or weak foot, but in terms of kind of that running bulldozer, that is exactly what we're getting with Haaland. An incredible finisher. Great pace on him, even on the base version of him is beautiful. He does have acrobatic playstyle plus, so volleys and flare shots are going to be phenomenal, but you do want that maybe power shot on him as well, which maybe in the future could be a thing we add, but he is just an out and out monster up front. We have got the heroes. We've obviously got Valer as the most expensive of the 5, 650,000 with the chip shop playstyle plus. It's a very nice playstyle plus, but it's not necessarily needed too much, as I find chip shots are just not quite as effective this year. You can get them, don't get me wrong, you can score them, but I do find them a bit wishy-washy. Maybe if you've got the playstyle plus, it might be added as a little bonus, but that then requires him to be the one going forward rather than anybody else. So it literally has to be him on the run, and I don't get to do it with any other person. So I normally just go around the keeper if I'm in that scenario, and really if I need to kind of chip it any other way, it's a 9 times out of 10 anyway, so it really doesn't matter too much. I much prefer a finesse or power shot when it comes to a striker. We then have Forlan with the power shot. We have Smolarek with a press proven, which I'm not a massive fan of, but at least he's got one at the minimum. We then have Keane at the, I want to say that's chip shop as well, so I keep saying chip shot. Keane and Voller together, you're going to score them. That's going to happen. It doesn't matter who goes through. Both of them can do it. And then finally Brolin, which unfortunately doesn't have one, but is still a very, very good option. And I must admit, these hero strikers, as well as Govu, I think is another one that I really like. I don't know which price point is actually. He probably should be in here, but I'll just add him to the next one. So we can put him there. In terms of everybody else, we have got Van Persie coming in at 470. Very good striker, especially if you are looking earlier on into the game. I can imagine he will lose his kind of prowess very soon, as 84 pace. We're going to see strikers that are going to hit that next level. Already with Leao, Rodrigo, Pedro, Openda, Son, there's a lot of strikers, and even Mbappe's got a version now. There's a lot of strikers coming out, which most definitely will supersede what Van Persie and a lot of the icon strikers can produce, unless they are in the absolute god tier. João Pedro, on the other hand, could be upgraded, same as Openda, both coming in at a reasonable price at 240 and 330. I must admit, João Pedro has been an absolute gem on the second account. We managed to get him from champs, and he has been beautiful. He is great pace, great finishing, dribbling wise is decent. There's not much more to say about him. I think he's a perfect starter striker in that sort of tense, because 330 is not really that cheap, but if you could have got him, he is a great striker to put forward. And same with Openda. He's a 3-star, 4-star. He was always known to have absolutely massive amounts of pace, so if you can whack that finisher on him as well, you've got yourself a deadly striker going forward. Then onto the SBCs, we have Rodrigo on one side and Leao on the other. Both of them can play striker as well. I must admit, I've probably seen more Rodrigos than I have Leaos at the moment, and it mainly because the Serie A teams takes a little bit to get going. We have got an Osimhen road to the knockout. We've got a Kvaratskhelia as an inform. I don't know if... Who's the other one? We've got Leao, we've got Kvaratskhelia. There's already somebody else. Martinez has got an inform, and I'm missing somebody massive. I know Di Natale is a striker in the hero version, but I'm pretty sure there's somebody else that I'm not mentioning, and it's going to come to me as soon as I look up Serie A. But Leao, a great option for 630. Is expensive, don't get me wrong, it is very, very expensive, but you can grind this out for the whole month. Even Rodrigo, 500, still expensive, but a little bit under the price, and most definitely needs to be done first, which is why I think we are seeing him more in teams, as he only has like 10 days, 9 days to go, whereas Leao has like a solid 20 plus. But I do think both of them, again, are a great addition if you are just looking for untradeable fodder to go into one of these SBCs. We then go into the kind of just under premium tier, and I must admit it mainly turns into icons because we haven't had a huge amount of promos, and you'll see as these kind of meta strikers progress in video form every month for a month and a half, we will see a big upgrade of special cards getting into the top category, some icons dropping. I can imagine Sophia Smith, no, it's something Smith, I can't remember what it is, but Smith or something along her last name that I can't remember, will eventually kind of turn down a little bit. You more than likely see her in the kind of lower series, and then you might see another gold Haaland that's been upgraded into a Centurions, or you might find an Alex Morgan that's become 93 rated. That is the beauty of it, is seeing where these kind of cards start with and where they end with. But I do think a lot of them, we've missed out a lot of icons here, but these are the premium ones. We've got Son as the first SBC at 1,000,000 coins. Did go up in value purely on the fact that, I believe anyway, that Blanc came out so cheap. Everybody's doing him. He was about 350, 380, so price of fodder was going up purely for the fact that we've had 3 very good kind of SBCs on the Friday. We then have Blanc, we have Beckham that's already in there, and I think another 15 other SBCs that you can complete. They are going absolutely heavy on player SBCs, and yet I just can't get a walkout out of an 80 plus, which is crazy. But Son is an easy one. He is in Trailblazer, but to be honest, he's already got the finesse shot. He won't be able to play striker, I can imagine there. The SBC for the player of the month is going to be my choice as one of the better strikers you can get in the game right now. Not talking icons, but back into the hero talk. 1.3 mil for Di Natale. If you've ever used Di Natale in any of the video games that he's been in, from his actual previous gold cards to his hero versions, he has always been absolutely phenomenal in front of net. Great shooting, great pace. Physical wise, normally manages to hold off a little bit. Great composure, and just a genuine goal scorer in front of net. We then have the icons. So we kind of start with the bottom few, because when it comes to Puskás, Henry, Eto'o, even to some extent Dalglish and also Butra, they are all way over 1,000,000 coins. Torres looking good. I feel like him, Smith, even Delpy to some extent, and maybe Muller. Muller was surprising last year as he dropped value very, very quickly. And I was surprised because he looks like a perfect striker. You add the Hunter onto him, it gets him like 95 pace. You look at the finishing, goes up to 96. He's got a bit of dribbling. He's a 4-4. He's a perfect striker there. He's 5'9" as well with a bit of agility. I don't see why he can't be in the top category, but for some reason in game, he just doesn't square up to Cruyff or Eusebio. And I think it's the same with all the rest. Delpy, especially in his base version, was ahead of the rest. So as we got into the mid, it kind of dropped a little bit, and by the time the prime's out, he's kind of just already done. Everybody's got their Mbappe. They had their flashback Ronaldo or amazingly specialed Haaland. They already had them cards, so the primes were just not really existent. This year, I think that the icons definitely hold a lot more weight, with there only being one version at the moment. The only thing that you've got to remember is they can be upgraded. Campaign icons, campaign heroes are already set to come. I believe Centurion icons have been announced already, and we already have a set amount of UCL hero icons Let me start that again. We already have a set amount UCL heroes added to the game, so they are coming in the next few weeks. So there's already plans to move them forward. Whether we see a upgraded Henry very soon will be the kind of catalyst, really. Do you see a Del P getting done in the first set, in the second set? That's the bit that we are kind of banking on. But all of these are going to be absolute top tier. When it comes to Dalglish, the 4-5 is amazing. Exactly the same for Butre, but unfortunately doesn't have that 4-star skill move, which is always a great addition. Both of them last year saw the 5-5 and what it does for the card. It literally tenfolds their investment of their price because they just turn into a monster striker. Both of them quick, both of them incredible shooting, and they just absolutely nail everything. When it comes to the premium of the top, they are what I consider just missing out on the premium. Henry this year has had a balance upgrade, which is absolutely massive for him. I thank EA finally giving him what he deserves, because there's no way Henry, one of the best, if not arguably the best striker in the Premier League's history, to not have any sort of usability in FIFA unless he got the amazing upgrade of the cover star. Now they finally upgraded it by 10, which is enough. That is all we need. He is incredible. The pace is brilliant. The skill move weak foot's nice. The finishing's incredible. The composure's there. Everything points to an absolute megastar in Henry. And I think for me, he is just under that premium collection. Eto'o is always Eto'o with a 4-4. Pace, shooting, physical. He is just, again, an incredible striker. Very much like Puskás. The only thing I didn't remember with Puskás is he only has a 3-star weak foot. Very surprising, as we're so used to the foot birthday 5-star, 5-star, which most definitely took the market by storm. But it's interesting to go back to the base and think, okay, he didn't really have the most amount of kind of skill move and weak foot. I always remember him as like at least a 5-4 at the very minimum. Turns out he wasn't. And then we move on to what I consider the best strikers in the game. No matter if it's Trailblazer or Gold version, Mbappe is number one. Gold version especially is immense. We get him every single year now for the past, 2-3 years. He has always been the best gold striker you can get. And I think last year he lasted me until team of the season. Now, if you're putting 1 million coins, 1.5 into him, I know he's a little bit more expensive than that in gold version this year. But if you could get him for that sort of value and you say, okay, I'm going to spend 1.5 million on a striker, but he lasts me until team of the season. Other than gold cards, for instance, there's only probably Virgil and a goalkeeper that could do that. Maybe even Ferland Mendy to some extent, but there's always upgrades that can be have. I think with Virgil, he definitely is a solidified point that you can do, and Mbappe is the other. Them two are the best gold cards for value and also for your outcome that you can physically get in the game. The Trailblazer's there because he is just a magician anyway. Got the power shot plus, which just makes him absolutely nuts. The only thing left for him now is literally a 5-5, which I don't think it'll take very long to get, to be honest. Ginola, still incredible, 2.7 with a 5-5. I think the 5-5 is kind of the pinnacle at the moment for any card, because we're now at a point where there's only a select few with it compared to last year, where at the end you obviously get every man and his dog and his neighbour's best friend's cat has a 5-star. You're now having to select so many players, and most definitely Ginola still comes in as an absolute unit. And then the final icons, these are the 5 that you want. Cruyff is always Cruyff. Eusebio is always Eusebio. Pele is now a 95 cam at 4.4 million. 5-4 on the skill move weak foot, and again just incredible amounts of ability going forward. We have R9 at the 5-5 as standard. 9 million coins, which is lower than expected. I know there's only one version, so I suppose the value of the card is spread out now. Normally we get 3, so 2 is already out. The base is normally kind of the lower tier that you kind of want, but you'd much rather go for the mid. I think that is pretty self-explanatory. And then the Prime just becomes this absolute overload that nobody can pack, because he's always insta-sell 15 million for like the first month. But he has competition that I personally don't know yet. I know the price is very, very hefty at 5.1 million, but a 5-5, great pace, great shooting, dribbling and physical, as well as a power shot plus, which is over what R9 has. He has quick step. So it's an interesting one to see where Ham can go with this, as most definitely that is a nutty card nonetheless. And I don't think there's been another icon that's really come close to R9 in a long time. There is a base version, most definitely. Zico's another great one, but I think he's more cam slash winger. Whether you choose him as a striker is down to you, but in terms of kind of Ham, she is absolutely magnificent. Possibly the best woman on the game. I'd assume she's the most expensive, so I assume she is the best at the moment. And does have them American links. Alex Morgan, Smith, Rodman, Swanson. You know, you're going to just test the boat out a little bit. 5.1 for one, 20k for the others. It's an interesting one. But they are the top strikers in the game, and that has been the list. Let me know down below if you use anybody else and what's your opinions on any of these strikers in the lists. But other than that, make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.